Hey, howdy. And welcome to another video, kind of like the Super Fighters one, where I nerd out about random junk that I've been working on recently. So, yesterday I posted a video that was just like a few seconds long clip of I'm just gonna come out and say it because it's been a day. It was a Rick Astley jump scare. But now we have the finished GIF, and I have to say, I think it looks awesome. But it was a freaking mountain climb to get this to actually work. So what I want to do is sorry about the weird zoom, that's just how this program works, because it's weird and old. I want to work through this entire mechanism, the counter over here, and the absolute train wreck on the right, which I'll get to. But for now, let me just address the simpler stuff. This is a switch. You press the switch and it pauses it, or I guess it stops it, technically, because it'll reset when I unpress it. There's a clock here. The clock can go at any speed that I want it to. Right now I think it's going at 16 hertz. It lags out after like 64 hertz or so, but it can go at 32 just fine. Look at Rick go. He's having the time of his life. I like it at 16 though, because it's the closest. I think it's the closest to the actual speed of the music video. So all this counter is doing is it's counting up from 0 to 15. And there's a representation of it over here. And then it gets pumped into this circuit right here, which I have defined up over on the left. It's a 16 switch. It's kind of just... What it does is it has a 4-bit integer get as the input. And depending on what ends up getting pumped in, it will output one of the inputs sort of in series from 1 to 16. I guess in parallel is the right term for this setup. But if we head on back... Oh, it paused. Depending on what gets pumped in from 0 to F, it'll get pumped into here, and then one of the wires will get activated with a 1-bit input. Depending on what wire gets lit up, it will activate the corresponding frame, which is another giant circuit, which I'll dig into in just a moment. But let me just scroll down to the very bottom one, because there aren't wires obscuring it. Now, something I really like about this, it's not intentional, but I love how the red wires are the ones that are actually displaying something, and that is, again, I'll get into it in a second, but it is just an unintended side effect that actually looks pretty cool. Let me scroll up to 0. Frame 0. This is where the code starts to get a little bit crazy, and where I had to take I had to use some tools to my advantage here. So what this does, starts off kind of simple. Gets 1 bit of input, it extends that to 64 bits, and then it pumps it into a bunch of AND gates, 64 of them to be precise. Because the issue that I was facing was that you can't store numbers larger than 64 bits in Logisim, or on most circuit boards, frankly, without special workarounds. So 64 by 64 really was the highest resolution I could go to without doing some crazy stuff. Pardon me. So you might notice for a while it is just zeros. But as you get further down, there's actual values here. And how it works is when the input is activated, I'll just activate it here. That extends to nothing but ones. And then because these are AND gates, all it does is it lets anything that's on the that was over on the left pass through. I'll go ahead and turn it off. I don't think it impacts anything, but Okay. Now comes the weird part. You might wonder where I got these numbers from, because you might be able to guess. All 16 of these frames have a set of 64-bit numbers that encode Rick Astley over there. And you might wonder where that came from. Well, here's where things get a little bit messy. And there are... I have some blocks there up at the top and where the terminal is. If you're watching this, and or if you're subscribed to the channel, thank you. I do not trust you with my real name. Either way, there's a decent amount to unpack here, but basically what this is doing is I have a set of images. I had to hold off from I was very tempted to call the folder RickPics, but I'm not going to. Let me just grab one of these images and toss it into OBS. It looks so cursed. Is there a way to, like, scale filtering? There you are. That's much better. So this is that exact image that we were seeing before. A 64 by 64 black and white image. And my goal was to format it in a way that Logisim could understand. So every single column from top to bottom, if they see if there's a white pixel, it denotes it as a 0. If there's a black pixel, it denotes it as a 1. So let's get Rick out of here. And let's swap over from Rick to Yick. I actually have an example right here. This fine gentleman. I don't like that it's defaulting to the filter. Alex Yick, you know him. You love him, question mark. But what we can do... I'll keep him on screen for a bit. I'll shrink him down so that we have a reference. You get to sit there, buddy. So, what I need to do is, let me find the name of the image. The name of the image is alexyick1.png. Let me copy this. And do that. Comment that out. I should put this up above. I'm forgetting my coding conventions, but coding conventions don't reel. I'll select frame 0. What this is doing is I have a file in the folder that this Java code is running in called GIF Player. And the thing about GIF Player, and I think it actually has slightly older build, but it shouldn't matter for what we're doing. So let's see. Yeah. So if red is less than 10 and green is less than 10 and blue is less than 10, it reads as a 1, otherwise it reads as a 0. Then it does some weird regular expression stuff to try and find specific lines in the Logisim file. Then it looks for the constants and it swaps them out. It swaps them out for the values and the x and y coordinates that we want. It's actually not that bad, and it's not that bad when I spell it out like that, but it was kind of a headache to implement. Yeah. I'll use Alex Yick as my first example. You really will past me. Huh. Oh, images slash Alex Yick. This should work. Yeah, there we go. And now that generates a new file. I'll go back to actually showing things in just a moment. Toss out the old one, change the file extension, and close out the old Rick. Because now, if I've done everything correctly, yeah! Look at him! Okay, that's way better than I thought it was. Hang on, can I rotate this? Yes, I can. Wait, flip horizontal. This is powerful. But yeah. And funny thing about this, if I go ahead and... Right, hang on. Oh god, I moved it slightly, so now it's... Okay, there we go. Should be able to start it back up again. Yeah, it's only the first frame that got updated. So what I ended up doing, because I'm a hack, is I made the new file, deleted the old file, renamed the old file to be the same as the new file, and then changed it from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, down to 15. I could have... there's definitely a cleaner... There's definitely a cleaner and less manual labor style of doing it, but whatever. It got me my solution. It got me my yick. God, this is the perfect payoff. So yeah, I think that'll do it. Thank you for your service, Alex Yick. And let me just go ahead and swap on back over to... Hang on, let me just pull this up for a second. As a... Oh wait, right. I have stars. I can just use that. I keep forgetting, I have this backing in OBS, I may as well use it. There we go. And it takes, by the way, it takes ages for this to load. Welcome back, Rick. And auto tick frequency 16. And hell yeah. So that's basically all I got. This was a very fun project to work on for what was that sibilance? This was a very fun project to work on for an afternoon or two. Maybe I'll do more stuff like this in the future, because I actually really enjoyed this. But that's all I got for now, I think. Thanks so much for watching.